So it's kind of, when you're designing your database, it's kind of like measure twice, cut once type of thing. You have to account for like every kind of scenario that you might need in that specific table. So it's good to actually draw it out, or like even on a piece of paper and just see what's going on, or up on the board. You can do whiteboarding problems of like, hey, design a database that, design Facebook's database that has users, posts. Many people can make posts. And like go up there and draw. It gets your brain kind of think of what you kind of need. So in the schema design, there's this app called Quick Database Diagrams, Quick DBD. I know Steven also slacked out another tool that for database schema design. This one's just kind of real quick and relatively easy to use if you kind of understand like the syntax of this. So I'm going to create a database that has addresses, so like a code platoon database, like a school, like another school database, but instead of, it's going to have addresses, students, and like the students' parents or the guardians. So we have addresses, so it kind of fills up right there. ID, primary key, integer, line 1, string, line 2, string, city, string, state, string. Now this is an actual SQL. We're not actually like writing SQL commands. This is just how this quick database schema design application works. So we also have guardians or parents. We have guardians, space, ID, PK, int, primary key is an integer, name, string, phone, string, email, string. This is just like real quick. And then I want address ID. So the guardians will have an address ID. That's integer, and then foreign key, addresses. It's going to associate addresses.id. So we have this little, so right here it kind of points at like, oh, the addresses ID. It comes down here, nice foreign key. Now let's do students. I'm just going to copy and paste this in here. Oh, that's not what I want. So we have a students table, has an ID, a name, a grade, which is a string, and date of birth, and then a guardian ID. So we're going to kind of show, as we build this out and see some data and do some SQL queries on it, like how to get from students to addresses. That's kind of what you were asking the last. It's like, how do you, essentially like a double join table. So we'll get into that. But we're going to take baby steps to get there. So let's build this out. It's clear. So the first thing we need to do, I'm going to do can make directory SQL example, cd SQL example. ls is nothing in here. Create schema. So the touch create db, just create schema dot SQL ls. Great. I come over here and see this. Create schema SQL file. There's nothing in here. Clear. So the first thing we have to do is actually create a database. I don't know. I should create db code platoon. All right. I'm going to PSQL into code platoon. There we go. I've got my code platoon database. Now it's time to actually create these, this actual schema. Let's see. I'm going to copy this over as an example, just as a reference. So addresses. How do I do this? Create table, addresses, parentheses, ID. Is it serial, primary key, line 1, do varchar. And if you don't know, like Postgres, SQL data types. Come here, documentation is always great. Looks like there's a bunch of data types, but that's big int, boolean. It's a lot of different data types. I come down here, Postgres tutorial, booleans, varchar. You can store up to n characters. Cool. So here's all like the different data types if you want to know. So here, let's do varchar 255. Make it not null. Line 2, varchar do 255. But what if no one puts in anything for line 2 for like an apartment? Should it be blank or should it default to something? None? How to create a default value for Postgres. Default values. So we have create table. Here's an example. Default. You can all do a bunch of different defaults. So it looks like it's the name of the column followed by the data type, and then followed by the default, and then the value you want at that default. So I'm just going to do this. So default, want it to be none or false or null? Not null, default null. Just do null. So if there's nothing actually ever put in there, we can put null. What else we got? State, varchar. Let's do 2 this time. So I don't like do not null. Zip code, varchar. Oh, yep, I need to do city. City, varchar. 85. 85, not null. All right, zip code. We don't want 2, we want 5. We also want that to be not null.
But the zip code could tell with dash something.
We don't want it to have that.
Okay.
Otherwise, we do like 11, something like that. Next is Guardians.
You need a semicolon too.
All right. So I said I need a semicolon after line 16. Good catch. Yep. So Guardians, I'm going to actually Guardians, create table, Guardians, ID, serial, key, comma, name, varchar. Let's do 255. Phone number. What should we do with phone number? I'm just gonna do a varchar. When in doubt, convert it to a string. But let's only have 10. So there's going to be no dashes if they put a dash in, or in our form when they put in into, like if they put dashes and stuff into it, we'll run a helper method that extracts it using regex or something like that. So it's we always convert it to a string, and we always make it have 10 characters.
Do you do 13 if you're assuming cross country? For the adding the country.
No, we're gonna just not have a country code on it. Email address. Let's do string. Let's do 100 characters because we don't want some arbitrary random. And address ID. Want it to be an integer. And how do we make the foreign key address ID to point to addresses?
Reference.
So we do reference
And the table name.
addresses. Is that right?
That would be addresses. This would be the table name.
Addresses. Okay. Don't forget the semicolon. And then I'm going to delete this. Guardians. And then the last one. Set of guardians. We got students. Students. That's good. Name, string, grade, another string. What should we for the grade? Is it a string? Yeah. Do 2 because it can be like 11th or 12th grade. You're not going to be in 151st grade, so it'd be varchar. What's next? Date of birth, date of birth. Is there a date of birth?
But there's a
Date
data.
of birth, data type, Postgres. Data by exportals. So posting date, we can do date. Does that make sense? Is there date now, varchar now? Oh, I don't know. That's weird. Just use date. Date, not null. And then guardian ID. Is it reference? Guardians. That all look good? Anything else? No, let's create the schema. Let's load it.
For email address, why would you do string instead of varchar?
Or did I do string?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yep.
What
That string is not the correct.
okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
Quick question.
Yep.
On line 16,
On line 16,
you have the word integer, and on line 24, you do not have the word integer.
thank you. These are errors. Good catch. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Let's load this PSQL. Was it code Platoon? Insert, create, reference. Reference PS5, a good one.
Sounds good. You want to see the final project?
Reference PSQL database, or not PSQL, Postgres. All right, hold on. Number check, constraints. I don't like constraints. We don't want that. We have foreign keys. References, it's plural. There you go. Let's run this again. relation addresses already exists. Okay, I don't know. Do we have an error?
You created it in the first one.
Ah, so what do I have to do? Drop
Delete drop table.
table. What is it?
If exists.
If exists, addresses, cascade.
What was cascade again?
So if there's any foreign keys or reference
that's right.
tables,
Oh yeah, because it says it's dependent.
Guardians,
Depends on
and then students. Go back down here, clear. Drop contains Guardian ID for on tables Guardian. Okay, notice, great. Drop table, create table, create table. PSQL, code platoon. Now I'm gonna do D. We have our addresses, guardians, and students. Great. I wanna see each individual. Addresses, cool. Addresses, students. It's great. And guardians. Cool. Clear it out. And then also, if you want to see it, come into post-to-co with Tom Pre. Where's code platoon at? Line 1, line 2, guardians, students. No thanks. So that's what post-to-co is good for as well. Just to double check everything. So now we want to create a seed file. We want to seed the database with some data. How do we do that? What's a general, what do we need to create? We need to create a seed file. It's going to hold. So there's our seed code, seed. Open it up over here. Great. So let's write some addresses first. How to insert or add data to Postgres database in SQL. Insert into RileyPostgres.org, inserting data, tutorials.com. Let's go here. Is tutorial point in here anymore? All right, tutorial point. Insert into table name, oh geez, column name, and then the values. I'm going to copy this over just to use it as a reference. So I want to create insert into addresses. Line 1. So I don't live in an apartment for this user. So I just want line 1, city, state, zip code, followed by the values right there. Values, and that's a string. So 170 West Fake Street, Chicago. Doesn't have to be all caps. I'm just doing it. IO, 60605, 60605. That's also a string. So let's see.
If you don't put it as a string, what's the as a string like in your
So the question was, if I insert this as a number, let's see what happens. So I need a PSQL code platoon. I'm inserting seed. Oh, looks like it's
because
anyway.
it can unambiguously figure out.
So
So it's right.
char that it converts it.
What about if you put a capital like null, you spell null out as a
I'm not quite sure. I'm going to read this first, and then we'll do the SQL code platoon. And then let's grab the addresses. All right, now let's grab clear. I'm going to grab everything from addresses. Select all from addresses. Still works.
But it has it as a string, right?
We can also look, open up post-to-code.
Didn't it change it to a string?
Hopefully. Yeah, it's probably a string.
What would it tell us? What type it is?
I'm not quite sure. But you can see the default value is null instead of default. Yeah. Still works. I'm not quite sure where it would show us. I don't know. I think you'd have to extract it from it and see, like, run like some code on it. Do a couple more. Insert into addresses. Clark Street. Real Street. 60602 or 3 and 1. Exit out. Oops. Clear. Then run that seed data again. And values, insert into. What happened? Why is there an error?
You forgot the semicolon.
Forgot the semicolon. Those damn semicolons. Let's run that again. Cool. Now I want to PSQL. See if I go up a couple of times. Code platoon. And select all from addresses. Oh, bunch of times.
Because it ran the first two and then.
I don't like that. I'm going to drop the database and do it again.
You can just do this /I create schema. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to run this create schema file again. Cool. Run the seed file. Run code platoon. Select all from addresses. There we go. Cool. Let's do some more. Let's insert into Guardians. So Guardians has address ID. Insert into Guardians. So in here, do we need, I ran into an issue with this one. Phone number, let's see, email address, and address ID. Values, so I'm going to just have some notes, addresses.
For the address ID, where do you get the address ID from? Is it automatically?
We have to manually put it in there when we're inserting this data in. And you're going to have to do it too, like when you're writing Python. Guardians. So values. Let's do. Sarah Connor. All right. First name, there's name, phone number, string, email address, and address ID. So address ID here. All right, let's run this again. Let's see what happens. Inserts in there. Q. That worked. Let's see what happened. Code platoon. I'm going to select all. Select star from Guardians. Nice. Do a couple more. So I was running this issue when I was doing this where I needed to provide an ID right here, which I didn't. I don't know why that was. Maybe it's not happening anymore, which is good. But maybe it will if I add these. Quit. I'm gonna clear. Oops. What am I doing? Seed some data. Name, phone number, address, ID, insert into Guardians. Where is that insert at? I'm gonna drop the table first. And then, cool, see data. Yeah, that's okay. The same error? Looks like it's the same error I got before.
Line 11 needs
Oh,
a
yep,
semicolon.
semicolon. That's the first
Oh.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Damn semicolon. Create schema. See data. All right, worked. So I'm gonna enter in, go into the database. So Q, not Q, select. So in here, I wanna grab all the Guardians. I wanna grab Sarah Connor's address, or no, let's do Ruthie Cohen. Let's grab her address. You can do select, star. Does anybody know how we do this? Kind of entered it with it yesterday, or not yesterday, or the previous. So I'm grabbing Guardians, selecting everything from Guardians. So all these, I'm going to join addresses. So I'm bringing in addresses now on.
What's the on?
I think it looks at like the columns. I think it's kind of like matches up the columns in both of the tables. So on address is ID. So where addresses ID equals Guardians dot addresses to address ID. So it's joining those two tables together, where like essentially on where the address ID and the address underscore ID and the address ID meet, and where Guardians. So we want Guardians dot name equals Ruthie Cohen. Oh, see what I did?
Guardians, Guardians.
Guardians. There we go. Let's do select. You can also do it in reverse. So like select, I think it's select everything. No. If we want to do just the addresses, select the addresses from Guardians, join addresses on addresses, kind of same thing. Addresses ID equals Guardians dot address ID, where Guardians dot name equals Ruthie Cohen. So what I'm doing here, I'm grabbing like watch what turns. So it just grabs the address.
And yeah.
Let's do the extended view. Extended display. If I do that same query, okay, that's stupid. So I just want, Okay, like, let's do that, but now let's just grab, instead of the addresses, do the Guardian's name, and dot name, addresses, dot line 1, addresses. Is Ruthie Cohen 3? Dot city, addresses, dot state, addresses, dot single state. Am I missing anything? Zip code. Is that 2 words or 1?
You have that as underscore.
So with this query, can't really bring, oh, cool. So I'm selecting the guardians.name. So all I want to show is this stuff. Start guardians.name, the address line 1, addresses city, addresses state, from the Guardians. I'm joining the addresses, same thing, on address ID, where the addresses.id equals the guardians.id, where the guardians.name equals Ruthie Cohen. I just messed it all up. So there, I've got the extended display on it, shows up like there. Ruthie Cohen, line 1, city, state. And the \x turns on the extended display and turns it off. So if I turn it off and run that same thing, shows it like this, extended display on, shows it like that. Let's do a couple more. Clear. I'm going to go back into Platoon. I can do select addresses dot star from Guardians. Join addresses on addresses ID equals Guardians ID, or Guardians.address ID, where, so pretty much every new SQL query that I'm writing, I'm just adding going to the next line. Guardians.name equals, let's do Tom Preet this time. Right there. So what this does is grabs everything from addresses. Address.star grabs everything from just the addresses.
But if you just did select addresses from Guardians and everything else, you can say.
It gave me like a tuple almost looking thing. So if you do the dot star, clean this. Yeah. Instead of, I never did I insert students in there yet?
If we pull from addresses to show.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's just a blank, because that's what it's saying.
So let's insert some students in there. The Guardians, students. You have insert into students, name, grade, date of birth, the Guardian ID. The values is Mike. Grade is 1. Date of birth 2010. ID. So I think Tom Preet is the Guardian ID. Same with Katie Preet. Let's insert that into our database. SQL school. We need to see some data right there. Insert, insert, insert. Let's grab PSQL, Platoon. Select star from students. Okay, so like, now how do I update a student? Like, I don't want to just say Mike, because I don't know who Mike is. I want it to be Mike Preet, my cousin, but right now he's my son, apparently. So, how to update value in Postgres? How to change value in Postgres? Update existing data in table. Postgres tutorial. It says update table, set column, name, where, condition. So look, update, name the table, set the column name, value, where, and then like a condition. So let's see what that looks like. Update, students, set, column name, name equals, instead of saying Mike, I want to say Mike, where, so the ID is 1, so where ID equals 1. Hopefully it works. Update 1, let's see what it looks like now. Cool. And that's okay if those switched, because the ID is still the same. So how to update, right like that, quit, clear. So now I want to grab the names of the students where Guardians names equal Tom Preet. So in here, I want to grab the names of the students where the Guardian name is Tom Preet. How do I do that? Select students dot name, because I want to grab the name from students. So join Guardians on students dot Guardian ID equals Guardians dot ID.
So
Where
that is always pointing to the ID that links the two, correct?
yes, where Guardians dot name equals Tom Preet. So there we go. Katie Preet and Tom Preet. So this is a join table. I'm going to enter. Oh, whoops. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, well.
Why does Katie have a space? Is it in the database space?
Like right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
left of Katie.
It's a case thing. It's sticking out.
like this?
Like whether or not
It
aligned.
looked like there was a space
correctly.
before Katie.
Oh,
So maybe
no.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Just don't like it's not aligned. It's
So I want to get the address of Katie Preet. So let's look at, do we have that thing up here? So I've got students. This is where like Katie is. But I want to get her address. So I have to kind of go through Guardians. So this is like a double join table thingy. I clear this? Does anybody have any questions so far with how like kind of join tables work?
So you know your foreign keys and primary keys.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do, I think it's select addresses. Let's just select everything. So from addresses. Now I need to join Guardians. And then I need to join students. And this is where I do the on stuff. On. So addresses dot ID equals guardians dot address underscore ID on guardians dot ID equals students dot guardians ID where where students dot name equals Katie. Whoop, don't want it. Katie Reed. Oh, crikey. Invalid reference from clause entry for table based from join on there is an entry for table addresses, but not. I don't know what that means. All right, I don't know what I'm doing, so let's figure it out. I mean, I do know what I'm doing, but let's Google it. How to combine multiple join in Postgres. Do you want to select data from?
I think on one of the joins you didn't include the ID. I think it was student.
So students, join students on student guardians
You
ID.
need to add student ID on.
For right here?
Yeah.
No, because I want the entire students table. So I have to join multiple tables. So I actually have to specify join entire table. Let's look at. Keep going. Right here, like this looks interesting. Multiple payment or multiple tables. Select from inner join on. So I see join on and then that and then another join. Cool. So we're almost there. I don't want to write that entire thing again. So I'm probably gonna have to.
Oh, so we can't do join.
So we can't do join, correct. So join students on Guardian. Guardians ID equals, yeah. So join Guardians on Guardians ID equals students ID, or students.guardians ID, and do another join, sorry, I deleted it, join students on Guardians ID equals students dot guardians underscore ID where students dot names payment ID. Maybe that works. No. Guardians ID.
You didn't have to say inner join, right?
No. Oh, I've got it over here. Katie Reed. So I'm gonna quit, clear, just so we get a. So it's select addresses. So I just want the addresses. So I'm gonna select just the addresses from addresses. Join Guardians on Guardians. Dot address ID. I think that's what I missed. Maybe addresses. Dot ID. Join students on students. Dot guardian underscore ID equals guardian. Dot ID where students. Dot name equals Katie Reed. Oh no. Oh, Guardians.
Well, what's the address dot? Does it mean that dot star means every addresses?
Yeah, like all the addresses, like all the columns in that address. So right here it says Guardians, right? So that might not work. There we go. So you select, and we could also,
With the join, when you want to see the name there too, to verify that it's
yep, students dot name. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's see it. There we go. We always want to select whatever from the table, join on, and then another join on, and then the where statement. So select, essentially grab whatever you want from all the columns, whatever you want, from addresses. You're going to join the Guardians. So right here we couldn't do, well, I think we could have. Let's see if we could have done, I don't want to, let's stop messing around. Because I was just going to switch the join Guardians and students. But does anyone have any questions? The join tables and extracting data.
Can you clear that screen without exiting each?
No, I don't think so. Clear.
I tried that. I tried CLS.
Yep.
Can you double up your join on again? I mean, can you just keep repeating that if you're bridging through multiple
I
tables?
think you can. I don't see why you
In
wouldn't.
theory, you can.
Yeah.
As long as you're linking the foreign keys.
Yeah.
Each time. Okay.
So that's what
You just let it be clear.
one of your,
Yeah,
well, I'm going to stop the recording right there.